Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk to Experts Tuesday. We are so thrilled to have all of you here with us today. My name is Jamie Gregory, and I will be your moderator for this session. This webinar series is designed to give all of you an hour with a few of our product experts. You can use this time to ask some questions, and it also gives you an opportunity to get to know some of us here at Qlik. So we do have a few housekeeping items for today. Everyone is on mute, so please use the Q&A panel to ask your questions. We will not necessarily be using the panel to respond to your questions, as we're going to try to get to everyone's questions live today. If we don't get to your question, or if it's something that may take a little bit of time to research, it will be available in the Qlik community in the FAQ along with the recording, and I will show everyone where that is a little bit later during the session. If you hopped on to get your question answered and then you have to leave, that's totally okay. You should be prompted for a survey. Please take the time to fill that out. It should take less than a minute. You can give us feedback on how we can improve these sessions for you, or even suggest another topic. The subject does not need to be, or the topic does not need to be an overall product. It can be pretty specific. We've had some great suggestions like security rules in QlikSense, using multiple Qlik products together, scalability testing, QlikView object sharing. The sky really is the limit with these topics, and we just want to make sure that we're allowing all of you the opportunity to ask the questions and get your answers. So again, all feedback is appreciated. If you don't receive a prompt for the survey, you can email us at any feedback at digital@qlik.com. And if you think of a topic at a later time, that's fine too. Just feel free to email us, and I'll go ahead and put that email address in the chat for you in just a minute here. So please keep in mind that even though some of our panelists are within Qlik support, we will not answer any questions regarding a specific open case. And again, we do ask that you keep the questions for today related to the topic at hand, which of course today is for QlikView. So again, use that Q&A panel to get your questions in. And while we wait for you all to enter in your questions, I will go ahead and take the time to introduce everyone in the panel. Today, I have quite a few people. Joseph Musakura, Technical Support Engineer, Maria Haley, Technical Support Engineer, Chip Madiowski, Senior Technical Support Engineer, Johan Jensen, Senior Director of Client Managed, Julia Kipperberg, Product Manager, and then Kaiki Zaniolo, Director of Product Management. So we're going to go through, have everyone introduce themselves as well. And Joseph, can you get us started, please?
Yeah, I have to unmute me first. Okay. My name is Joseph Musakura. I'm based in London, Sweden. I'm working with Qlik. I work normally with a front end, a desktop, Azure Analytics, QlikView, QlikSense, but I've been with Qlik for almost 9 years. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Joseph. How about you, Maria?
Hi, I also work in the Lund office, or at the home office right now, but normally in the Lund office. I've been with Qlik for about 5.5 years now, working both with QlikView and Sense.
Great, thank you, Maria. Welcome. Chip.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Chip Madiowski. I'm a senior technical support engineer. I sit on the signature support team here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I've been here, I actually just celebrated my 9th work anniversary earlier this month. So love being at Qlik, and looking forward to assisting how I can.
Great, thank you, Chip, and congrats. All right, Johan.
All right, my name is Johan Jansson. I've been with Qlik some 15 years now, in R&D the whole time. Initially on QlikView Publisher when it was more of a separate product, and then more QlikView in general. Been in architect and management role the whole time. Yep.
Perfect. Me. Great. So if you have any questions on architecture, get them in. You have a great resource on the line here. All right, Julia.
Hey everyone, so my name is Julia Kipperberg. I am based in Massachusetts, so hopefully I'll get to see our Waltham office, our new Waltham office soon. I am the product manager for QlikView, as well as for accessibility and client managed. I've only been at Qlik for a month, so I am excited and happy and fresh set of eyes.
Oh, great. Well, welcome, Yulia. We're happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And last but not least, Qlik.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good whatever it is for you right now. So my name is Qlik Zaniolo. I'm Director of Product Management here at Qlik. So I'm responsible for the mobility and learning roadmap for QlikSense. And also I oversee the QlikView roadmap as well as the product strategy with Julia on my team. Yeah, so I've been at Qlik for almost 12 years now. So I think I lost to Johan here on the call. Everybody else, I think it's we met here at some point in time. So I've been looking at the name of the people here in the Q&A. Very excited to see some familiar names there. Hope to answer some questions today and support this. So happy to be here on another Tuesday with you, Jamie.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. All right. So again, my name is Jamie Gregory. I am a senior technical support engineer here at Qlik. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina as well. And I've been with Qlik for, I guess, 3.5 years now. And my primary focus right now is the Qlik support updates blog out on the Qlik community, where I share updates, critical issues, articles, and videos. And yeah, let's go ahead and that was a little bit about me. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the questions. All right. So the first question is, I want to build a solution where the KRI calculation can be changed based on threshold. I also need to be able to add a new KRI. Can such a solution be developed and the changes automated to be pushed to production? Kind of a front-end question.
Yeah, as we said, I said before, I think the best way to get an answer to this question is to post it in the community unless someone have input inside, because it's kind of curious calculation. So it is hard to explain it how to do it on the call like this, but from the community, you can get more information, and we can try also to collect both information and update the answers.
Okay. Perfect.
If I just may add to that, I think the threshold here is the key part of this question, right? So absolutely post that there, but take a look at some documentation we have available on community, especially around using variables within your expression. So you can actually nest some functions in the variables, and you can create your KRI calculation there, or attempt to do that based on the functions available. So there's a section in the QlikView help page that you can find all the different functions, and there is one that helps you to manage and work with variables. I would look into that, but yes, absolutely post this with more details and more specific things on community. And if like one of us could actually go there and just take a look at this, but also there is a army of people that are helping and looking at those questions every day. So I think community is awesome in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're out here on community.qlik.com, you can go here to forums, then data analytics, QlikView, and then QlikView app dev would probably be a good place to post this. And like Joseph and Qlik said, try to post as much information as you can. If you have any, screenshots or even files that you've been working on, some QVWs or something like that, that doesn't have any sensitive data, you can attach everything into your community post. And then, like Qlik said, we can get some eyes on it. And then there's also everyone in community. We have some really great developers out in the community. And so that is a great place to get some assistance with those kinds of questions. All right, perfect. All right, so the next question, when will the next version of QlikView be released?
I can take that question, Jamie. So we are planning to have the release of QlikView coming out next week.
Perfect. Sounds great. We'll make sure that we post, support updates blog if everyone if you're not subscribed to the support updates blog, I would highly recommend, just a little shameless plug for myself here, that you do that. If you go here to support and then support updates blog, you can subscribe. So you'll have a little button right there, and then you can set your email notifications and be notified when there's new blogs out there. And we'll definitely post a blog when everything is released. Great. All right, so next question. Is Qlik committed to supporting and developing QlikView as well as QlikSense?
I can take that one, maybe.
Sure.
I think the answer to that one is a crystal clear yes. There has been even communication from Mike Capone stating clearly that we are continuing to invest in QlikView and making sure that the investment that US customers have made will be around for a very long time. The latest thing is in the move to cloud to make sure that you can, if you want to, use your QlikView files on QCS as well. So that's just one of the steps in which we are supporting QlikView.
Perfect. That's great. Okay. Is there a way for automated conversion of front end from QlikView to QlikSense, please, or does it need to be done from scratch manually?
So I can take this one.
Yeah.
This is this is actually I would say that you actually don't want to do that. So this is an opportunity for you to assess your UI, your front end, and perhaps if you're moving to Sense, you can actually introduce some modernization in terms of that use case. So there is things that you can actually use in order to get all your calculations or your expressions that can move over to a QlikSense application in terms of measures. You can move over your dimensions, but basically the nature of those two products are very different. So QlikView is a product that it's like foundation is an absolute positioning where you can overlay things and you can do a different type of front end and design. And QlikSense is a grid where you do self-service and you use the options that we have there. So I think this is a great opportunity in that sense that you migrate the hard part, which is like all the calculations, all the effort that you did for connectivity, and now you take the opportunity of seeing how can I actually make this and drive this towards a more modern usage of that and introducing self-service, for example, on top of that. I think this is a great opportunity for doing this. So we do have some things that you could use in order to make that easier, but I would highly recommend taking that opportunity to review that and make sure that you're not only migrating, but you're adding value to what you're delivering as well.
Perfect. And I would add to that as well. We had a session just a few weeks ago now about migrating from QlikView to QlikSense. There's quite a few resources within that session. So if you go here to events, support, and then programs, and then talk to experts Tuesday, you'll find under past events, our previous sessions, the recordings, and then links to the FAQ. So the session was on April 6th. So you could take a look. If you look in this, there is the recording is posted, and then again, the link to the FAQ. And you can see all those resources that Kaiki was talking about within that FAQ. So I'll go ahead and post the link to this in the chat here for everyone. And if you want to just take a look at that and review everything there as well, that's a great place to get started on some assistance for migrating.
Yeah, and I remember because I was on that session as
Yes.
well. I remember we talked about this there, so
Yeah.
I think it's a good point for starting there.
Yeah, and we've had a couple sessions on this as well. So if you want to take a look at the previous one before that, it would be here on this list as well. All right. Perfect. Let's see, next question. Gotta move my windows around. All right, so I'm using QlikView Management Console, and I want to hide the names of QVW files. Is this possible?
Hey, Julie, I can field this one.
Okay.
Or Jamie, sorry.
It's okay. Julie's my sister's name, so it feels like pretty natural to be called Julie.
Yeah, I have no idea where that came from. I apologize.
No worries.
Yeah. So if you'll, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm pretty sure they're talking about this right here. So they want to obscure the name of the task from the name of the QVW from the reload task. So I'm pretty sure, and I've confirmed this, that it's not possible to do out of the box. And I don't believe there's a way using any APIs to do that. So I believe it's hard coded in the product. I was asked this once before and did some research on it, and that was what I found. So about the only thing we could do to facilitate that would be to submit a feature request for the Qlik product, asking if it's, you know, to make a change where we could possibly do this in a future release. So this is a knowledge-based article, how to submit a feature request. So I'll copy the URL and drop it in the chat.
Perfect. Great.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I correct me if I'm wrong here, but excuse me. I think that's just the name of the task, so you should be able to name it wherever you want. I don't
Correct.
think, or does it add the name of the file at the end? I don't think it does. I think you can just rename it. But then you lose all connection to that name. So it might not be a good idea to do that. Then you can't track back where that task is, what it's actually reloading.
Yeah, so I think it might also, you know, maybe we need to understand the use case a little better from the customer that's asking, you know, why they need to do this. If they don't want doc admins to see task names or, you know, whatever it could be. But as far as I'm aware, you can't obscure the name currently.
Okay.
Yeah, I can add something on that as well. I think it's added in there because it was a help to find a task name can basically connect to any file at all. There's no linkage in there. So this is a help so that if you were to look in the QMC, if you look at the task setup that you have where you set up your tasks, they're all centered around the files. So you start with a file and then a task. And when you look at the status page that we just saw, then you're actually seeing it from the reverse view, that you see the tasks first, and then to kind of help you, which file are we talking about? We're showing that at the end.
Yeah, just add to that. So yes, I remember the day when we didn't have that. So I think that was added because of the opposite request. So, but this is I think we're all assuming that that's what the question was about. So if that was not the case, again, one more time, like go to community, post that with specific details, and the team takes a look at that constantly. And there's a bunch of people that probably done similar things, and they can help you there as well.
Oh, perfect. Great, everyone. Thank you.
That was a great collaborative effort.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. All right. So as a part of this one's kind of long, so I'll try to I'll get through it. All right, so as part of a QlikView migration project from version 11.2 SR17 to version 11.2 SR21, and in order to resolve the vulnerability that was reported on version 11.2 SR17, we are looking for feedback to limit any risk of regression and see if version 11.2 SR21 is compatible with Nprinting 11.6 SR19. Could you send us the system, or is there system requirements for QlikView for version 11.20 SR21?
So I can take this on, you know, at least take the first crack at it since we got such a good team here. But so unfortunately, those versions are no longer supported. They've all reached their sunset dates. And in order to fully engage with support and then potentially with R&D if need be, you need to be running a supported version. So, you know, our advice would not be to upgrade to the latest SR of an unsupported version, but would be to upgrade to one of the newer, more modern versions that, you know, has full support. So there's an article that has the sunset dates for all the products. So I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat so people can reference it in the future.
Okay, perfect.
That I can add something there as well.
Sure.
That being said, that yes, the SR21 is unsupported of 1120, but if you just look at the delta changes between those releases, we did not do a huge amount of changes. They were mainly security updates on that one.
Okay.
So it's typically, I would say, it's absolutely not recommended to do, but if you were to do it anyway, I wouldn't see a major risk in such an upgrade, because there wouldn't have been a huge difference between the two.
Johan, so when they're asking about regression testing, the regression tested is done, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that should help alleviate any concerns.
Yeah. So basically, we have a number of test cases and test scenarios that we always need to run before being able to release a service release. And if I remember correctly, the last 3 or 4 service releases on 1120 were strictly related to security issues that had come up. So the change was very, very small. And that meant that not a lot changed, and we did all those regression tests that we do. So
Okay, perfect.
So Jamie, just to emphasize that, and can you confirm, because when you read that, they also mentioned Nprinting and mentioned a very, very, very old version of Nprinting.
Yeah,
Did you see 11.6 when you read that?
Yeah, they put 11.6.
Yeah, so this is also not supported. So I would highly recommend what Chip said here, like pick like something supported there so we can help you moving forward. Because this is a migration that if you do, you're on your own. Like we cannot support those products any longer. And like if you find any problems there, the answer is going to be, well, update to a supported version. So highly recommend going like all the way, even Nprinting here, with a very, very old, like Nprinting 11 is quite old.
Yeah. And, you know, I would also just throw out there, you know, recommending reaching out to your account team, because they can assist you with, you know, getting up to date on everything. If you have concerns about some of the newer versions or about your hardware or anything like that, you should start those conversations with your account manager, and they'd be happy to help with that as well. Okay, great, everyone. You guys are so collaborative. I love it. This is fantastic.
I want to add something too.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Like for version and compatibility between the QlikView and Nprinting, it's all in the Nprinting manuals.
Okay.
So you will have to just go to the help, and then under system requirements, you have what version of QlikView is supported also.
Oh,
just
perfect.
Extra.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Maria. All right. And so just a reminder, everyone, use the Q&A panel to get your questions in. We have quite a few different kinds of resources on the call for you today. So if you have any questions, just throw them in the Q&A. Of course, let's try to keep them QlikView related, but I think we've had kind of a good balance, you know, here of QlikView questions and what else they work with, or if you're moving over to QlikSense. So that's great. All right, so let's see. The next question is, suddenly our reload engine won't work with the error account failed to create account IQVS_XXXX access is denied. Does anyone have anything to share about this error message?
Well, I can at least say something about it. Yeah. We can't really answer the question because we don't have enough detail to know exactly what's going on here. But the account they're talking about is something that QlikView creates when you start it, and it's used. I think it sits as unactivated or in Windows, but it has to be there for everything to work properly. So they probably somehow took that account out or did something, but it should be recreated when you were restarting the server.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good example for opening a support case and investigating more.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you can always create a support case, or if you want to try it out on community as well. Those are definitely some great options. Okay, so the next question, I have a very large QVW dashboard, which I plan on using Publisher, Loop, and Reduce to split into multiple smaller dashboards. I know that I can turn on dynamic cal assignment, but I still have to manually allocate a number of cals and toggle this option for each and every QVW file. Since Publisher will be creating many QVW files, is there a way to automatically allocate document cals to each new QVW file and also dynamically assign cals to users? I need to streamline this process so I don't have to always maintain and assign licenses.
So I'll take a first crack at it. So it sounds like they're looking for a way to automate turning on, enabling dynamic cal assignment, and then also provisioning a number of document cals to a loop and reduce task and distribution. So there's not a way to do that out of the box with the management console. So typically after the loop and reduce creates the QVWs, you would go into the QMC, enable dynamic cal assignment, and then you would provision, say, 20 document cals to the document. There may be a way to do that if you use the API, the QMS API, to provision the number of cals to a document, and then turn on or enable the dynamic cal assignment. But to automate that, so that's kind of out of my wheelhouse, but I think you might be able to use a supporting task, like an external task, something where you could create a batch file to run at the conclusion of the loop and reduce task.
Yeah, I can add something there. I think that's probably an interesting direction to go in there. I keep forgetting if it's in the APIs or the QMS API, or if it's in the power tools, that you can pre-populate which users you want to assign a cal to. And that's probably the best thing to explore here with how you could do that. And as Chip said, then add that to a bat file, run that as an external application task. You probably need to loop through something of each file that is created, since loop and reduce will create many different files for you.
And I would also say reach out to your account manager, because this is right in the consulting services wheelhouse. So they could definitely help with authoring a solution for this type of question.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you, Johan and Chip. All right, so we are halfway through this session already. I can't believe it. It flies by so fast. I know, Johan, if you need to jump, please.
Yeah, I'm afraid I need to drop now.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much for joining us, Johan.
Thank you. It was nice to be here. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, so if anyone has any other questions that Johan might be best suited to answer, we'll definitely, still compile those questions for him and follow up with him after the session. No problem there. All right, so just really quick, I'm going to go ahead and just share. I've kind of talked a lot about it already, but just kind of reminders for everything. So let's go ahead. We'll go to the support updates blog. Again, this is a great resource. I would suggest subscribing if you haven't already. You can get information about, new product releases or any updates that are coming out. Like today, we had a change for the new unified login page, so that was really exciting. So you can get updates like that if you just subscribe to the blog. Again, everything will be posted in support updates or support programs Talk to Experts Tuesday. So the FAQ will be posted there along with the video recording. We don't have any we have upcoming events scheduled. Unfortunately, they're not on here yet. We're kind of changing some of the backend systems there. But the next session is June 1st, and that is on QlikSense Enterprise. So that would be our on-prem or client managed version. If you are looking to make that change, switch, or maybe even just add QlikSense with your QlikView product already, you might just want to join that session. We'll get the link up here shortly. I'll make sure it's in the FAQ for everyone so you have direct access to it, but you can also just obviously come here to this page. So if you have any questions on QlikSense, that June 1st session, you'll be able to ask those. And then I just like to show the ideation page. This is a really great resource that we have, and maybe Kaiki or Yulia can talk a little bit about it. But we do have ideation where you can go in and suggest, enhancements that you would like to see within the product itself, and that's any product. It's not just limited to QlikView or QlikSense or anything like that. But you can search through the ideas. If you find an idea that you would think would make a really great addition or would help you out in any way, you can definitely comment or give it a like and show your support for that idea. You do have to be logged into Qlik Community, and you do have to be a Qlik Community member, like a customer, partner, or luminary, to take part in ideation and voting within ideation. And you can also suggest your own ideas. So you can, put in your own requests if you're really passionate about it and you would like to see, think it would make a great add-on to the product. Definitely, this is a great way to make your voice heard. Kaiki, Yulia, do you have anything to add about ideation?
Yeah, sure. No, I think you cover what it is. I think the importance for us on that, I think, is the validation. So this is the place I go, and Yulia and the whole PM team, we go there just to get a validation of the things that we're assessing and the directions that we're going, and just make sure that we're listening to the voices that they're there. Like, just in terms of voting, I think it's the most important thing you can do there. So if you spend some time, if you think something important, if you think something should be there, just go there, vote, and advocate. Just lobby this, talk to your friends, talk to people, and say, go vote on my idea. Because that's how we're going to get that that demand coming from you and a validation of that demand coming from you. I think it's really important for us to have this engagement. I love the kind of engagement that we have, though. So we have the idea, we have voting, but then you open something, it has like 10 different comments and specific aspects of why you're asking for this. That gives me the detailed information that I need to perform a validation and make sure that we're assessing a problem that's a real problem for real customers using the product. So yeah, I think this is my favorite place in community, actually.
Okay, that's great.
Apart from the Tuesday expert.
Yeah. Apart from Talk to Experts Tuesday
Yeah,
program page
Yeah.
or the support updates blog.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll jump right back into the questions. All right, so next question. Do you recommend dimensional modeling in the database when using Qlik, or can Qlik do some of this slice and dice using raw ODS kind of data?
Oh, I can talk about that one. Yeah, so it's really your choice. So we're flexible. So Qlik does provide you the flexibility to use our ways of doing things. So we have something that we used to, I don't think actually we use that anymore. We used to call that AQL because it was the associative query language. So basically it's very similar to what you do with SQL, and you connect to an operational data source. And you don't have to do all the modeling on your database. If Qlik is the only place you're going to consume those changes, you can actually get the modeling done inside of Qlik, and then you can leverage them inside of Qlik. Of course, if you're talking about the change that you're going to do in the data model that other things are going to use, it makes sense for you to do it there. So we're not enforcing anything. So it's your choice, right? So I think that's the beauty of how the associative model works is we can take anything that you have and we can allow you to modify it so you have the best looking or schema for showing the data for your users. If you don't want to do that inside of Qlik, you can always do that in a like data warehouse, or you can do that anywhere. And we're going to leverage that the same way. So really up to you.
Perfect. Okay, and let's see. If I need to do some machine learning like logistic regression or linear regression, do I need to do it outside of Qlik, like in Python, or is this something I can do inside of Qlik? If I do it in Python, can I put Qlik on top of it, and will it give any additional benefits?
I'll take a stab at that one as well. So yes, you can do that. The second part here. So basically, Qlik does not have any machine learning algorithms or anything embedded. We do have some functions. We have statistical functions. But if you want to do like a proper machine learning or like a regression or anything like that that was mentioned on the question, I think your best choice is going for R, Python, or whatever flavor you like best. Then we have something that's called a server-side extension. So server-side extensions are a way for an external third-party engine like Python or R or something similar to connect to the Qlik engine. So basically then the Qlik engine, when you're performing a calculation, you can actually call the native expression from those things. So you can actually pass a Python expression inside of Qlik. So you create a chart. That chart calculates with the Python expression that because of the server-side extension, it's actually calculated in Python. So the beauty of this is that happens on the fly. So that happens ad hoc when the user is actually selecting and making changes. So any selections, anything that's done there, it goes back and forth between Qlik and whatever engine you're using, and you get that benefit of using the associative logic on top of a very powerful platform like Python or R. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of examples and use cases you can find in community on that.
Yeah, in community, the developer page, there's quite a few. If you just do just a Google search for server-side extensions Qlik, you'll see resources just here at the top, GitHub, branch, and developer.qlik.com. And then you could definitely use the community for questions on how to implement or anything like that, or any questions that come up. Perfect.
And just to mention, like everything here is open source when it comes to that. So you can find them there and just like tweak it to your own needs. So that's a good thing as well.
Great. Thank you, Kaiki. Okay, let's see. Okay. So we have a question in the chat, so I'll go ahead and read it, but do try to keep your questions in the Q&A panel just because it's a little bit easier for us to manage. You should see two options on the Zoom webinar, Q&A and chat. But so the question is, what about updating the QlikView documentation? Today, it's not relevant in comparison with QlikSense in regards to loading and modeling analytics data, loading analytics script syntax and chart functions. They're just going to a specific page here.
So I don't understand the question. It is like, is the question asking about the update, like the documentation for QlikView is updated to the latest release?
Yeah, I thought it was all the same, like the paths and things.
This might be a good candidate for a support case where they contact us and let us know what their issue is or what their concern is, and then we can get a better understanding directly from them, and then help them understand, you know, what type of documentation QlikView has surrounding these topics.
Yeah, and if there's anything that needs to be added or moved around, we can create a ticket with the help team, and they can, you know, make any adjustments necessary with that. So yeah, I would suggest that as well. Go ahead and put in a support case for that, and we can address that for you. Okay, perfect. All right, next question. We have prepared a new Windows Server 2019, and now we need to move QlikView from Windows 2008 to this new server. How can we move all of our users and catalog from one Windows server to another?
So I can take a look at this question. So there's in the QlikView help, there's a great section on upgrading and migrating QlikView to either the same server or to a new server. So there's some steps that you'll need to take. You'll copy the QVPR, you'll copy it, and then you'll install it on the new server, but then you'll need to go in and do a little bit of surgery, if you will, by updating the host name from the old server to the new server. Yeah, that's it, Jamie. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So this lists some great steps to do that. And then if you're going to bring over user created content or bookmarks, that's going to be in the shared files or the T-shared files. So you want to copy those over. If you're doing anything like a domain name change, you'll need to update things there too. So we have a bunch of different tools, power tools or articles that discuss how to do that. Let me drop a couple of items in the chat there that cover upgrading and migrating. So let me just do that real quick.
Okay, perfect. Does anyone have anything to add on this question? No? Okay.
I think that's a good answer.
Okay. Pretty straightforward, I think.
Yep.
All right. So while Chip is getting those resources, we'll just go ahead and move on to the next question. So could you please share experiences about the migration of QlikView to Microsoft Azure? I'm just looking for some advice from you. I don't know if anyone in support would have any recommendations with this. This might be more of like a consulting.
So yeah, trying to understand the question. So if they're migrating to Azure, they're migrating to a virtual machine there. So it would not change too much in terms of where we host this, if it's like on a physical server on premise, or if it's a Windows box on Azure or AWS or whatever. Like the major points, and I think this is really well covered in the documentation, is make sure you have all the system requirements right. Make sure you have the door, like the ports that we have to use, they're all open and communication is happening the way it's supposed to, and you should be all set. I don't know, Chip, I mean, do you want to add anything to that, or?
Yeah, so I think the documentation on that in the help would be the best place to start. Again, so this is typically not a support ask. These types of questions are usually best handled by like a technical architect from our consulting services team. So maybe we can follow up on that.
Yeah, but I think in general, like QlikView does need to run on the Windows box. So you're basically actually doing a VM inside of Azure. So just like if you follow the best practices there, and if you do have some problems, then you go to Qlik services to be able to, I mean, the consultants there, they can help you. That like something like this is outside of the scope of support. I think that's what you're covering, right, Chip?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But it should be straightforward if you follow.
It should. I mean, I can say there certainly are, you know, thousands of customers that do this without any issue at all. So, yeah, you know, definitely doable. So, you know, full speed ahead.
Yeah, I think the only catch is like, because you're no longer on your controlled on-premise environment, so you have to double check, because you could be opening the ports on the Windows box, but then you have to open the ports on your deployment on Azure, making sure that whatever that machine is trying to communicate outside is actually going through.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only catch that I would say for hosting something outside, is just make sure that the ports are working as required.
Yeah, I
And
would say,
everything's in documentation.
yeah, that, and then also to make sure the resources are not dynamically assigned. Make sure that they're fully and wholly, you know, allocated. You don't want to get into a situation where you have to wait on Azure to provide you RAM or CPU cycles. QlikView does not like that at all. So you'll run into issues if that's the case.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. Hopefully that helps. And I would imagine too, if you do a search on community for QlikView and Azure, people have posted about this, and they might have, you know, some recommendations or tips or anything like that. So you can always search on community. Okay. Let's see, next question. I am looking for a quick way to copy all the tasks from one Qlik environment to another environment. I found through the search that the QMC tasks are contained in the following XML files. Oh, this is kind of a long question, so I'll do my best to read it. So they're in the Program Data Qlik Tech Management Service QVPR source document.xml and the Program Data Qlik Tech Management Service QVPR document task.xml. I copied these from server 1 to server 2. I restarted the services, and when I go into server 2, the QMC, I see that all the initial tasks are gone. My question is, what do I need to do to see all of server 1 QMC tasks in server 2 QMC? Is there another XML file I need to copy, or is there something I have to do with the Program Data Qlik Tech Distribution Service folder? I feel like there's definitely another component here that I'm missing to get the functionality that I'm looking for.
It sounds like they're replacing the file, basically, and that's why they're losing the original tasks. So anything specific there, Chip, or?
Yeah, I would say copy the whole QVPR over and not one-off XML files.
Well, but they want to merge. So the thing is, they want to merge the existing QVPR with the other QVPR coming from the other server.
Well, okay. So
yeah, I think one option could be to cluster them and then decluster them, right? So and then everything stays in one place. And then,
they could also use their remote management services to transfer tasks as long as they have the same version and backend files structure. Then that would probably be the best way to do it instead of copying things over.
And I think that's covered in the help as well, right? So the remote management part is covered in the help.
Yeah, that should be. And we have an article on it too, so we can find that and provide it.
Yeah, but just to give a little bit of information, when you do that, you actually have one management console that's pointing to two different servers, and you can just manage things between the servers. And I think that's like you move stuff from one server to the other. But again, the folder structure and everything has to be exactly the same. Otherwise, you're going to create conflicts there.
Okay.
That's it, Jamie.
Okay, so I'll put this.
But the remote management service is probably the best way to accomplish that ask. This is also, folks use this to quote, elevate, unquote, tasks from lower environments to production environments. So that if you're looking to merge QVPRs, this probably, or tasks from one environment to another, this would be the best way to do it.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you. All right, so we have about 9 minutes left of the session. So if anyone has any more questions, let's go ahead and get them in the Q&A panel. so we can have our experts on the call answering your questions. We have a couple more lined up, so we'll go through those. But if there's any more questions, like I said, let's go ahead and put them in the Q&A chat. Okay. All right, so let's see. Next question. Let's see. We are evaluating an upgrade of release from 12.3 to the 12.5 version of QlikView Server. Are there any inconsistencies in terms of licenses or other issues?
There shouldn't be any licensing issues. You just can't use the same QlikView Server license concurrently between multiple environments. We have the manual left checker URL, so you can plug in your license there, and that way it will display what your license enablement file, also known as the left. So that has everything that's provisioned for your license. You can check for if there's a expiration date. Most licenses don't unless it's a test license, but you could check the left to see if there's an expiration date, see if you might run into that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, as long as there's no issues with upgrading and using the same license. I think maybe if there's a support to date in the left, but that should be renewed each year upon the renewal of the license. So I don't foresee any problems. You just have to make sure you're not running it concurrently between multiple environments.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, right? So if you're doing that migration and you install the new version and use the same license, you're going to crash both versions when you do that. So you gotta only one of them, as Chip said, can run at the same time.
Yeah. So
I think Yulia covered that in the beginning of the session. Like they're planning on migration to 12.50, 12.60 is coming next week. So might want to take a look at that as well.
Yeah,
and then if you run into an issue where you need to run environments simultaneously, reach out to your account manager and ask for help there. They typically are very accommodating for those scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say it's very important to check that in the left, because if they are expired, it will even tell you in the installation, I think, and it's not going to work if you do an upgrade. So you have to have an active license.
Perfect. Great, everyone. Thank you. I love this call. All right. So next question. Is it necessary to license the QlikView plugin?
So no, the plugin is a client, so it will operate without being licensed. With that being said, it requires a CAL to interface with the QlikView server, but there's no special licensing for IE plugin.
Yeah, the user using the plugin is the license piece, not the plugin itself.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right. And what is the best way to identify if my QlikView has unused QVS files in the script, unused variables in the UI or script, or unused code in the script?
So there is one tool that's out there, which is like a way to profile your QlikView document. And I think it's called QlikView Analyzer, that you could use for things like that. It just basically checks everything that you have in your environment, see if that's being used or not. The governance dashboard will provide you some of that as well. So there are a few options that you can find there for doing this.
Okay, perfect.
Those things very easily found on the community as well. Like you would one search away from finding them.
Yeah, it can definitely be done. There's like the QlikView cookbook, and then there's some admin playbooks, and there's all kinds of playbooks out there. So those should help you with that. So that was the last question that we had. So if anyone, go ahead.
I added the link for a government dashboard because it was the answer prepared for this question. And if they scroll down in that link I sent to you, Jamie, I don't know if you see it. If you can share that one, because I couldn't share my screen. Maybe if they scroll down, they will see a definition of a question we answer with the government dashboard. They also give a detail about the object that you can find there, because you can see the variable which was used, the object which was used, expression, unused, used, everything. The government dashboard is an answer to that question.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you, Joseph. All right. So I think that was the last question. If there are any more questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A panel. If we can't get to them right before we're about to just sign off, we will make sure they are answered in the FAQ. Again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. The next session is June 1st, and it is on QlikSense Enterprise, so that's client managed or on-premise. So thank you to all of my panelists, Kaiki, Chip, Yulia, Maria, Joseph, and Johan, who already left. Really quick about the survey. If you take the time to fill out the survey, you will have the opportunity to give any of our wonderful panelists here some shout outs. So we do make sure that they are recognized for all of their efforts here on the session, so you can help us out with that as well. So if you can take the opportunity, please fill out that survey. Let us know what you would like to see in the future. That would be of great help. We'll be getting the remaining sessions for June up on the Talk to Experts Tuesday program page here shortly. And then we're scheduling for the second half of the year. So we could really use your input on what you would like to see come the second half of the year. All right. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We got through quite a few questions, probably around like 15 or so. So that is great. And we'll see you everyone in 2 weeks. Thanks again, everyone.
Well,
Have a great day.